Alright, so now that everything's nice and forged out, I'm going to start grinding it to shape so it'll fit onto the blade. So here's our handle piece. This side is a little thicker, so I'm going to use this up front to hold the blade, and then this will be the back area, because it's a little thinner. Not too much, especially when you get down into the core of it. So what I'm going to do is with the grinder, grind into this to remove this back wall so we can slide this piece in and figure out the alignment on our handle. Now that that's ground, I can slide this in, and that's what it's going to look like when it's connected to the handle. So I'd like to put my pivot somewhere around the midpoint of these three sides on the blade, and I think I want this a little further in, so I'm just going to grind a little bit more and then I'll refit it again. So now that this is ground to fit, I'm going to grind the profile of the handle out, and then I can drill my pivot hole. So now I'm going to use the flap sanding wheel to clean up all my edges. Alright, so here's the knife. Now I'm going to go ahead and drill my pivot hole right here. So now I'm going to drill a hole the same diameter as this nail. This nail is going to become the pivot pin. So here you can see the nail fits nicely. Now it's time to drill out the blade. Alright, so here it is, and it looks pretty good. See, it closes nicely. So now I'm going to cut the nail so that only about 1/8 of an inch sticks out. And then I'm going to clean everything up. We're going to heat treat this blade, and then we can assemble everything. Right now, it's looking good. I've also gone ahead and drilled a little lanyard hole in the back. Now I'm just going to clean up the handle with this wire brush, and the handle will be finished. There it is. I kind of like that rough forged look with the scale on it. So I'm just going to wipe it down with some mineral oil to keep it from rusting, and the handle is done. You also want to put a little bit of mineral oil on the inside of the handle, and you want to oil it down occasionally because it is steel and it can rust. There it is. So now it's time to heat treat the blade. I've got some fireplace cement, and I'm just going to apply it to the back of the blade so that we get a nice hamon. I'm also going to cover up this area where the hole is, because we do not want to heat this up. We want this to be as tough as possible. Otherwise it could snap there. We also don't want this to harden, because we don't want this to be brittle. So we're just going to cover up all of this and down into the blade. I've gone ahead and covered the areas that I don't want hardened, along with these lines going down the blade. Hopefully those will help prevent cracking, and it might make the pattern a little more interesting. Alright, so today I wanted to try something a little different for my heat treat. I'm going to be quenching in water, so I've gone ahead and cleaned out my quench tank. And we're going to try and see if we can get a different perspective on the quenching process. So I just received this phone from AGM. They're a company in China that makes phones, and they specialize in rugged and tough phones. So this one is drop resistant, it's also water resistant. So they sent this to me to test out in my videos and to see how I could use it while making my projects. So today I'm going to throw it in the quench tank, and we'll see if we can record quenching from the bottom up. Alright, so now it's filming. Let's get to it. So now I'm just going to heat the blade up in my forge until it gets to the point where a magnet will no longer stick to it. I have a magnet right under here to test. And once it gets to that point, I'm going to heat it up just a little bit beyond that and then quench it in water. Here we go. Alright, so there it is. It looks like it hardened right there on the edge. So I'm going to wire brush this off. Alright, so here's the blade after wire brushing. Now I have good news and bad news. The good news is that this definitely hardened, and you can see there's a nice, beautiful, well-defined line. Now the problem is that on each one of these dips that I did, there's a small crack. You can see it a little better on this side. And the cracks extend about 1/8 of an inch into the blade. So I could grind this all back, lose all of this edge, and just go from there. But I think I'm just going to leave it. I'm going to leave it just like this. And I really like this knife. I really like the shape. So I'm going to sharpen it up. I'm going to put it to use every day, and I'll see how it performs. But yeah, it's kind of a bummer. This is the first time I've tried doing those little lines. I was hoping that they would keep the blade from cracking, but so I think what ended up happening is I underestimated how much carbon was in this steel, and I should have quenched in oil rather than water. So I'll see if I can get most of the cracks out, and then I'm going to sharpen this blade up. Oh yeah, definitely hardened. Alright, so I was actually able to get rid of almost all of the cracks except this one right here. And it's not very deep. I didn't want to take away too much material here because I think the knife looks just fine and I think it'll perform. So let's put it together. Alright, so I've gone ahead and oiled everything just to help keep things from rusting on the inside of the knife. So now I'm going to put the blade and the handle, pin them both together. Okay, it's pinned together. Everything looks good. So now I'm going to pin this over. Alright, here it is. So it's still a little bit stiff, but it should loosen up after a little while. But here it is. Here's the Higo no Kami all finished up. I'm pretty happy with how it turned out. I wasn't entirely sure if pounding out a piece of rebar to make the handle would work, and I'm really happy that it did. I'm a little bummed that the heat treatment didn't go as planned, but I had never tried this before, so it was a good experiment. Now I know what happens, especially because I think I underestimated just how much carbon is in this. This hardened a lot more than I expected. So I'm expecting this to be a nice knife. I'm going to carry it around and I'll let you guys know how it does. But I hope you enjoyed building this knife along with me today. I had a lot of fun. I learned a lot, got to try out my new phone, and here it is. And before I go, I'd like to just give a huge thanks to all of my supporters on Patreon. I'd set up the Patreon account and I hadn't done anything with it. I still haven't done anything with it, but just the fact that you guys have decided to start giving just really got me going and making videos again. And I just wanted to thank you guys. And to all of you who watch my videos, who comment, and who have supported me, thank you so much. I'm excited to keep doing this, and with your help, we can keep this going. So, thanks for watching, and I'll see you guys next time. Bye. Bye.